Since Sunday night's NASCAR race at Richmond finished with what may have been a jumped start, late race restarts have been the talk of the town in the stock car racing world. NASCAR Senior Vice President of Competition Elton Sawyer's comments about how the call was made things even more confusing. However, a race series representative said that every restart is handled the same way, and that Sunday's call at Richmond was a sure thing, with little time for review. If Denny Hamlin had started where he did on the last restart earlier in the race, the call could have been different, said one of NASCAR's top race judges. "It's a bang-bang call," he said when asked if a car should be fined for restarting. "It's at the end of the race. We're a live sporting event. We don't have the luxury of a timeout and go to the sideline and review it and make that call," Elton Sawyer said. "The person who works for NASCAR that they judge every lap from 1 to 400 or any other number. That's the goal. But when there's a potential penalty that needs to be reviewed, and done so with 2 laps remaining at a short track, the sense of urgency is extremely high. Much higher than at lap 10 or 50 or 300. It doesn't mean the call would change if it were earlier in the race, but we'd have much more time to review multiple angles, SMT, telemetry, tracking data, etc. When it's at the end of the race and the stakes are high, taking a win away from someone is obviously a considerable penalty. We need to feel 100% confident in our decision to take a win away." In race control on Sunday night, we felt that it was the right call and stood by it. With the benefit of 36 hours of review, it became clear that the 11 did go early. If this happens at lap 10 or 50 or 300, the call could have been different. If I'm a competitor, I wouldn't be playing that game every week. Sometimes you get the call that goes in your favor, sometimes you don't. When it comes to races, Sawyer said that judges have more time to look over calls. You make the call, and at that point in time in the race, at the end, there's not a lot of opportunity there to undo that. But you want to make sure you get it right, Sawyer said. Because he was the leader, he did get some of that benefit. If he's not the leader, then it's a whole different conversation that we're having. In this case, that would mean that Hamlin's small jump, which was seen on replay, wasn't bad enough to warrant a call right away. There wasn't enough time left in the race to look over every part of the restart, so the series decided not to make a decision until they were sure. They let the race go on. Because of this, Hamlin won and kept the track position he and his team earned with a good race and a great pit stop. Rule 8.5.3.2b of the Cup rulebook states, "The initial start and all restarts shall be initiated within the restart zone on the racetrack. Double red lines on the outer wall designate the start of the restart zone. If the lead vehicle does not restart by the time it reaches the exit of the restart zone, designated by a single red line on the outer wall, the starter will initiate or restart the race." There is a rule in the Cup rulebook that says the race leader is the control vehicle for each restart. Sawyer said that Hamlin had won the right to be in charge of the car, and that this is how the restarts will continue to be run. The leader has the right to start within that zone. Obviously, Denny took the liberties of going a little bit early there. A spokesperson also said that Sawyer did not mean that races are run differently at the end. Officials in the series have to make decisions faster and with fewer tools because they don't have time to look over video and tracking data. They can only do this when there is a clear jump that gives them a clear advantage. People who are driving can try to play in that dark area if they want to, but it's not big enough to be sure of getting ahead. It might not be worth the chance of losing a race on a big jump. The restart caused some uproar within NASCAR, but also from fans. And if you think Hamlin would stay silent after putting himself in the spotlight like that, you're wrong. As Hamlin also caused some uproar on X making fun of the Sonoma Raceway track. It's well known that Denny Hamlin doesn't like Speedway Motorsports' track record of repaving and reconfiguring tracks over the years. This attitude showed up on social media again as Thursday night turned into Friday morning. Earlier this week, an SRO sports car event at California's newly paved Sonoma Raceway had to be stopped because many parts of the 2.52-mile track started to come apart during a 2-day test run before race weekend. Parts of turns 4, 7, 9, and 11 have been fixed, and turn 11 is being repaved completely before this weekend's SRO-sanctioned races for Fanatec GT America, GT4 America, GT America, and TC America. The yearly NASCAR weekend at Sonoma is set for June 7th 9. Last week, several teams did a test to make sure their tires would work at the track. Right away, Hamlin told everyone how unhappy he was with Speedway Motorsports, and the company's CEO, Marcus Smith, who is the son of the company's founder and NASCAR Hall of Famer Bruton Smith, responded in kind. "When paving on a budget goes wrong, NWB will be next," Hamlin wrote. NWS also refers to the North Wilkesboro Speedway, which was just repaved and is owned by Speedway Motorsports. The Senior Cup Series driver got a public reaction right away from Smith, which started a heated and very personal back and forth. This is a great post from somebody who doesn't know all the information. Ignorance on display for the world to see. I will delete this tweet when Denny Hamlin sends me a text or gives me a call directly to ask why this is happening. "You don't need to delete. We've seen your reconfig record," Hamlin replied. People like Hamlin have been upset about changes made to Kentucky Speedway, Bristol Motor Speedway, and Atlanta Motor Speedway over the years. These changes have caused problems for drivers, especially Hamlin. "Yes, we take risks. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. We've seen your attempt of the championship as well. When you have a chance, maybe you could give me some golf tips," Smith wrote. "Here's your tip. Let someone else run you business before you blow everything your dad gave you," Hamlin quickly replied. "So proud of my dad. Hall of Famer." If he had a Twitter X account, I don't think his comment would be family friendly. "So listen here, almost NASCAR champion. You keep working at it and one day you're gonna get a big trophy. Thanks for the tip." Smith posted as last, before deleting all his comments. That was it, at least for the night. But there's more to this story that needs to be understood as well. After the 2007 spring race, Speedway Motorsports changed the layout of Bristol Motor Speedway for the first time. The elder Smith ordered a gradually banked reworking of one of the most famous Cup Series stops, which was known for having only one groove and the bump and run. This was done to encourage side-by-side racing and more than one groove. It used to take years to get on the list to race at this track at night in the summer, but that number slowly went down after that. This was Speedway Motorsports' mistake. They tried to fix it by cutting down the upper gap that got steeper as it went up, but it only made Bristol a one-lane top-dominant track. Since then, NASCAR and Speedway Motorsports have put a traction substance on the bottom opening to try to keep cars from moving to the top. For the spring races in 2021 and 2023, dirt has also been added to the track. What are your thoughts on the recent repaved tracks? And what about those comments from Hamlin after winning the most recent race like he did? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.